You're stretched out in your favorite chair, the aroma of fresh coffee in the air, and you open your investment app. Overnight, a quiet transaction has occurred. Another dividend payment has landed in your account. You didn't do anything in that moment to earn it, yet your net worth just grew. That's the calm, quiet power of Canadian dividend investing, a strategy designed for regular income, stability, and long-term wealth, and it's accessible to any Canadian, no matter your age or investment experience. Today, we're taking a close look at why Canadian dividend investing is so popular, how you can use it to build a reliable portfolio, and most importantly, how you can get started, whether you've got a few $100s or $50,000 ready to invest. Let's start at the very beginning. What is dividend investing? Imagine owning a tiny slice of some of Canada's biggest companies, like RBC, Fortis, Enbridge, or BCE. These publicly traded giants don't just strive to grow their businesses. They also reward their shareholders by paying out a part of their profits, called dividends. In Canada, dividends are most often paid quarterly, though some ETFs and companies offer monthly payouts. But there's more to these payments than just free money. Dividends represent a company's confidence in their earnings power and financial health. In good times and bad, dependable dividend payers strive to keep those checks coming because they know shareholders love steady income. Over time, many Canadian businesses have not only maintained, but grown their dividend payouts, creating powerful compounding effects. Why focus specifically on Canadian dividend stocks? For one, Canada is home to some of the world's most dependable blue-chip companies. These include the so-called Big Five banks, RBC, TD, Scotiabank, BMO, and CIBC, as well as top utilities like Fortis and Canadian Utilities, and major players in telecom and pipelines like BCE, TELUS, or Enbridge. These companies have weathered recessions, market crashes, and global crises, yet have a remarkable history of paying and even raising dividends for years on end. 1. 2. And here's something few new investors realize. Thanks to the Canadian Dividend Tax Credit, eligible dividends from Canadian companies are taxed at a much lower rate than interest or regular income in non-registered accounts. And if you invest in a TFSA or RRSP, your dividends can grow, tax-free or tax-deferred. It's a uniquely Canadian advantage that amplifies your returns and boosts your passive income. 1. All this sounds amazing, but how does someone actually build a dividend portfolio? Let's walk through what this can look like for you. First, focus on quality. Seek out well-established companies with reliable earnings, low payout ratios, and a history of keeping, even increasing, their dividends. Start with the leaders in their industries. Banks, utilities, pipelines, and telecoms all tend to be rich hunting grounds, but don't neglect other sectors like REITs, consumer staples, and even some tech and industrial names. Some investors swear by the dogs of the TSX strategy. Here's how it works. Each year, you look at the TSX 60, the 60 biggest Canadian companies, and shortlist the top 10 with the highest dividend yields. Then, you purchase those 10, hold for a year, and rebalance annually. The idea is simple. Recently unloved, but fundamentally strong companies may offer above-average yields and are often poised for recovery. Be selective, however. Never chase extraordinarily high yields from companies with shaky payout histories or declining business models. Another time-tested approach is called dividend growth investing. Instead of aiming for the highest yield, you target stocks that consistently grow their dividends each year. Imagine each of your positions as a tree. Dividend growth stocks are the apple trees that deliver more fruit, year after year, giving you a pay raise simply for holding on. What about diversification? It's crucial. Don't let your portfolio become overexposed to a single sector. For example, Canada's banks are strong, but if they all face headwinds a few years in a row, you don't want your income, or your capital, to take a major hit. Mix in different industries, including energy, REITs, consumer products, and telecoms. A well-balanced garden yields fruit in any weather. If picking individual stocks feels overwhelming, don't worry. Consider dividend-focused Canadian ETFs, such as VDY, XIC, XDV, or XEI. With just one purchase, you gain diversified exposure to dozens of top-paying dividend stocks, and the payouts are automatically collected and distributed to you, monthly or quarterly. Let's pause and talk about risks and myths, because dividend investing isn't a cheat code to effortless riches. First, dividends aren't guaranteed. Even blue-chip stocks can cut or halt payouts if their business runs into serious trouble. And yields that look too good to be true might be. Check whether a company's dividend is covered by real earnings, and beware of chasing high yields at the expense of safety. Sector concentration is another risk. Don't let one industry dominate your portfolio. What about taxes? The Canadian Dividend Tax Credit gives you a leg up with eligible Canadian dividends in taxable accounts. But remember, U.S. and international stocks don't get this perk, and you may see withholding taxes and less favorable tax treatment. Where possible, keep your Canadian dividend stocks in a TFSA or RRSP for even greater savings and no tax paperwork. Let's put the pieces together with a beginner's example. Start by buying a Canadian dividend ETF or index fund for instant diversification. As you learn, add a handful of individual blue-chip stocks with strong histories of dividend growth. Reinvest all your dividends. Many platforms allow you to drip or automatically buy more shares each time you're paid. Each year, review your holdings, watch for companies with shrinking payouts or declining businesses, and make careful adjustments. For those ready to go deeper, track the Canadian Dividend Aristocrats, companies that have increased dividends for 5 or more consecutive years. Use a spreadsheet or dividend tracking app to stay organized and chart your progress. Above all, avoid hunting for the highest yield at the expense of sound businesses. So here you are, watching your money work, rain or shine, bull market or bear. That's the quiet reward of Canadian dividend investing: steady paydays, a growing nest egg, and financial peace of mind. Thanks for joining me on this journey into Canadian dividend investing. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update on building wealth, passive income, and smart Canadian investing tips. Got questions or a favorite dividend stock? Drop them in the comments below. I love hearing from this community. See you in the next video.